Alrighty then, good afternoon all of you lovely people, Silver Dragon here, coming at you with some more Castle Story. Going to be starting up my 10 wave series, as it were, for the finale here. Going to be going 70 to 80, 80 to 90, and then finally 90 to 100 to finish up this 100 wave series of madness. Now let me actually just verify everything is going good here. Yes, that wall looks secure. This wall is about as secure as it's likely to get. Oh, we had a couple little extras hanging around here, it seems, that are getting slaughtered right now. I could probably use more archers, because you can always use more archers. Oh wait, I actually still have this archer right here that didn't want to move where I wanted him to. Now that I've saved and reloaded the game, it seems like he's a little bit more cooperative. Alright. That works for me, that works for me. They're still absolute dipshits when it comes to actually hitting the broadside of a barn, but what can you do? What can you do? Alright, let me actually move my characters around here a little bit. I do want to get them close to this. I actually want to spawn in more knights at this point, I would say. I want to focus entirely on knights if I can. Alright, anyway. Let me actually lower that down a little bit for now. Or not. Apparently it's a little bit bugged out right now. Alright, give me a second here. I've been altering my sounds, my audio quite a bit lately, so things are getting louder and quieter and all over the damn place, so I'm still kind of in the fine-tuning process with this new headset I got. Really nice headset. How are we doing here? I do want to replace these bits right here if you guys can. Definitely get around to that, boys. I'll put a single block there to finish that bit up. Okay, that should be smashing. Alright, there's a lot actually I could probably replace here too while I'm at it. Actually, that's pointless to do that one. I could definitely go beyond it, though, and start piling up more here if I so desire. But anyway, I digress. Okay, that should be fine. I'm gonna wait until the next battle is over before I get into the discussion, as it were. But everything looks good right now. Of course, we got these guys zooming around the crystal here. Now, how are we doing also in the... Oh, no one's working on that right now. Let me get you working on that, good sir. Ooh, I see what your problem is. We have a distinct lack of trees right now. Alright, Dingo. Let's go cut down a tree, old mead. Let's go cut down this tree over here. Hopefully it'll tilt the way we want it to, but I doubt it. All I really want is enough wood to finish... Oh, fuck. And I screwed it up. I could have actually got that, but then I screwed it up. It was tilting the right direction, and I went and nudged it the wrong way. Damn. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, this time, don't freaking touch it. 2 blocks are going to push it in the correct direction. We don't need to screw around with it anymore. Timber! Beautiful. Alright, let's get you up here just to make sure that you actually spend it on what I want you to spend it on. Because this will be our only catapult. It's really all I can afford. I'm so low on wood. I could probably, honestly, I could just tell them not to do this so we can go get as much wood as we wanted. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to have them not seal this away right now. That way I can send them out, I can cut down all these trees, and I can just haul them back in. I could just put them all on wood cutting duties for a while. And that would more than take care of it. Sweet, sweet. Where's our explosive barrels anyway? Oh god, they're underneath. I really hope we don't have any misfire issues. That would be unfortunate. The whole center area here would just go boom. Ah, I see what your problem is there. There's no pathway here, so you have to go all the way around. That's alright, that's alright. Oh wow, this thing requires quite a few logs, it seems. Come on, Dingo, you can do it. Pick it up, man. Get that block in place. Oh god, you guys just sitting there doing nothing now, aren't you? Okay. Oh Jesus, no. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just do it this way then. Oh god, they're left outside there and I can't get them in. I hope they run. I hope Cobalt gets his rear in gear and gets the hell out of there. Because I have to defend this thing properly now. And they are in the way. Get up there now. Okay, let's delete all the unnecessaries. Pray that doesn't delete the wood, even though it probably did. God damn. Oh shit, why are you moving? Why are you idiots moving? Oh, I had to. They reset their command protocols. They reset the command protocols. They're no longer stationary. Get over there now. Go! Go, you dipshit. Oh, you dipshit! Oh, man. Fuck. So, it seems I completely needed to force them over here because they've reset their command protocols now. So, okay, he even died. That's unfortunate. So we got guys making it through here now, almost. I guess they're taking a lot more arrows in the face hole than they would otherwise here. I'm pretty sure that the reason they're dying right now is friendly fire. More than anything. At least on this side, so more than likely I'm about to seal this off again. I'm not going to be able to use this kind of design to take care of them. Unless I move it down to this edge, and then I could actually use the slowing walls as well in that case. I could probably do that. That's probably that's exactly what I'm going to do more than likely, actually. Okay, you two, go mine. Or not. There we go. The rest of you, I'm going to give you a new job. Congratulations, new loggers. Alright, I'm going to have to spawn 2 warriors to make up for the warriors I just lost. Okay, get over there, man. So on that side it works perfectly because they're too far away to actually hit them, but on this side it just doesn't work. I'll have to have them remove that later. Remove that bit, and we'll replace it like so, and then we'll get the stairway up here. And I think I'll just have, we'll have 2 guys defend it. That's what I'm gonna do. There we go. Like so. And I'll remove the other one. That way they can easily take care of it. Oh, don't I have you guys? No, I do not. Wait, what happened to the rest of them? Alright, screw it, you two then. If you're not going to go over there, then you can help build. So, that's 6. Okay, I believe that's all of them. Oh yes, we have no way inside, do we? Whoops. Okay, go over here, my friend. I need you to build that up for me so that we can get inside. Be useful, old bean. Delicious. Okay, I'll drop that. There we go. Okay, that's just a random block I placed over there in order to... Where the hell are you going? Oh, makes perfect sense now that I think about it. It makes perfect sense. They have no way to get it back in here right now. In that case, let me go like this. And that will allow them to get it back inside. Google, get back here. And build. And you're going the wrong way. Get your ass over here. I'll move you over here, good sir. You two, I'll get you over here and I'll have to move you afterwards. But anyways. Hopefully they don't get in trouble. Seriously! What are you guys doing? Did you just completely run out of space to put that stuff, or what? Apparently they did. No, that's the wrong one. I'm going to go into the wood here. Create structure, create stockpiles. Okay. I thought I ordered you two to get your butts over here. Apparently you like disobeying me. But no. Why? Get over here. God, I'm gonna remove all you idiots from that work here and from that job in a minute. I swear. Ay, caramba. Alright, let's get you to build this. Now you're gonna help them. And you're also going to help them. But you're gonna take it where it belongs, damn it. Okay, I'm gonna restrict this stuff right here. So all these guys, I'm gonna have them take care of it like this here. You get over there too and help out. That's not the right way. How the hell could you even... Oh, no, you shouldn't even be able to go around that way because they're blocking the stairs. You literally should have no way to do that. Alright. Having a single stair is such a pain. Tends to block them one way or the other. Or not. Google refuses to move now. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. We'll try adding him to that squad. Maybe he'll haul his ass out. Or not. They keep passing it back and forth. Oh my god, that is hilarious. Hilariously terrible, but hilarious nonetheless. Alright, go help them out, boys. Oh, well, I deleted the logs. They really need to remove logs from that damn delete. That is driving me nuts. Alright, boys. Go gather some logs. Let's remove that. That way... Oops, nope. Allow it. That way we'll have a stockpile again. And then after this ends, I can finally begin the madness. Alright, pick her up, man. Pick it up. Get back there. And this is the last one. After him, I don't want any of you guys getting out there anymore. Okay, everyone back out. I gotta reset up the guard. There we go. And the guard is set up. Okay. You guys, I'll have you cower over here in the center. Right side's good. This side could use one more knight, actually. If I can afford it. Which I could, but I better get him where he needs to go. There you go. Take him a minute to get over there. But anyway. Now that I got all that done and dealt with, even though I still have a little bit left to go, left to fix in this regard, I suppose I can move on to the discussion of the day, as it were. Now, there have been a lot of people concerned with the progress of this game. Namely, there was 2 people who were commenting. I believe it's, was it Raziel the Lost, and who else was it? It's like Fimbolv. Oh god, how does Fimbolvnir or something like that? Or Vitur? Fimbolvter? Very weird. It's a very odd name in that regard. It's hard to pronounce. But if you even meant to pronounce it, I should say, in that regard. But anyway, basically there's a lot of people concerned with the amount of money that this game has gotten for its development and the progress that has been put towards, you know, finishing the game in a sense. You know, it's been a long time, as they've said, well over a year since we've had a lot of content get added to this game. They've mostly been working on all kinds of stuff, bug fixing and ridiculous amounts of other, adding new things to the actual engine itself, you know, new sound engine stuff, all kinds of graphics engine stuff. Like, they've been pretty much looking up a lot of different new technologies and trying to integrate it into the game. Not necessarily even new in that sense, but, you know, just different technologies that they can add into the game to make it better. How's this holding up this time? Oh, this is holding up a lot better now. A lot better. So I'm definitely going to have them fix the outside here, if I get the chance. Any more danger out here? Not that I can see. Okay, I'll put them all in the build squad. Get this guy out of the way. Oh, doing pretty good up front here. And to a point, I can agree to that. You know, the concerns are valid. It has been a very long time since we've seen any new content hit for this game. You know, they've been working a lot on optimizing their code, and apparently they just shot and destroyed the catapult. So fuck it, I don't even care about the catapult anymore. I just don't care about the catapult anymore. I'm giving up on the catapult. One arrow just ended the catapult's career, which is ridiculous, but yeah. And yeah, I can agree, you know, a lot of devs are a lot faster with their coding, you know, they can get a whole, just absolute ton of stuff done. Some aren't quite that fast. A lot of devs are, you know, take a lot of time to do what they do. And you're going all the fucking way around, aren't you? God damn it. There. So I gave you guys a job that's like 2 feet away, and you're just going a mile to complete it. That saddens me. A little bit. So yeah, like this here, there's a lot of issues with the AI that needs working. Some serious reworking to fix it. And so on and so forth. And a lot of their focus has been on the code. And the general argument, and I've heard this argument a lot when it comes to a lot of these indie games, a lot of these, you know, crowd-funded games, is that, well, they've already earned all this money from us. We've paid so much for them already, you know. Why aren't they spending this money for the game? Why aren't they hiring like 4 or 5 people to get this game done in that sense? Well, there's the question, isn't it? You know, that's something that, you know, devs themselves would probably answer a lot better, I would say. I would definitely want to actually, get their opinion on that. And they have actually said something as well, another post I'll be reading from a little bit later. And I should mention that they have been hiring people. Since everything has finished up with the Kickstarter and all that, they, and they don't get that money instantly, They don't just like, okay, Kickstarter's ended, here's your check, good luck. No. It's a whole long process to actually get that. And actually get that, get that banked and then be able to actually start using it and to help build the game in that sense. And yes, they could just go out and spend all their money, like take all that money, just throw it into people and, get them working on the game. But then, of course, it takes time for them to get familiar with the code and, with the way that they're actually developing it with the various people. They do have an office, and there are people that go to that office and work at that office in Toronto. But there are also people that are developing for this game that are like in another country almost, pretty much. And, they write code and then it breaks somebody else's code and so on and so forth. Stuff like that happens, which had caused delaying for a long time. And just the code itself in the beginning was a little bit, well, I guess the best term for it would be, oddly enough, sloppy in that sense. It was poorly written at the beginning. So they needed to redo it and get that ironed out so that it would be able to function properly for the future and speed up content production, which is what they have been working on, getting it to the point where it would help speed up content production. And now that that's pretty much done, the refactoring is generally over from what I understand. Well, it's never going to be over. They're always going to be changing, fixing up and ironing out the code as things go on. That's just the way it is. But, the major refactoring seems to be mostly done. And they're going to be working from now on adding all that extra content and such. And actually, refining the AI as they have before here. So that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, it's like, they do have a lot of money. They were given a lot of money. But the interesting thing about alpha development is, and it's always the money discussion with people in that sense, yes, you've paid a lot of money to get this game, but you paid a cheaper price as well to get this game. You're only paying $20 for an alpha game, and the content, honestly, for $20 worth of content is more than here. It really is. You are getting your money's worth for this game just by buying it in its form right now, basically. You are getting your money's worth. That is there. That's, whether or not they take, however long it is they need to take to get it finished up from there, so be it. Honestly, anything after that is bonus. Like, once it gets out of its alpha stage, the price is going to go up. It's going to stop being a $20 game, and it's starting to go up to like a $30 game or a $40 game. Now, there are many games, many alphas that have been released where, they charge you full retail price for it. Such as, say, the Wasteland. Wasteland 2, that was like a $60 game, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, during its alpha phase right now. So that's a, big full-price game, and they didn't release a lot of content for a long time. They actually just, they even released a message about that, saying our updates, yeah, we know, we haven't been updating for a while, we apologize for that, but we're working on it. Here's this giant patch we just released, with a whole lot of new content. Enjoy it, have fun, and we're going to continue to develop things and get all that, get it all done up and finished as quickly as we can. So, unless a dev specifically, well, we didn't have enough money, so we abandoned the game, then there's not really much to complain about necessarily in that sense. Oh man, it's such a very discussed point in that sense, It's like, yes, they could spend all that money on just getting more people in and getting it, getting some code pumped out, but God knows if that would actually cause more problems than it would solve. Let me get all this built here. I'm trying to build and think at the same time. It's not actually proving to be very easy. Oh, man. But yeah, there are even several other games out there that are in the alpha stage as well that I have more of a worry about than this, and one of the ones, of course, I'm just going to say Fimble, because that seems the easiest way to say your name, good sir. Yeah, Fimble had said, he wanted me to do like another review rant, like a year in review rant, like I did with Forsaken Fortress. And that was one where, with a game like this, it's debatable about whether or not, because we can still see the direction it's going, we can still see that they're trying to work on it and get it done. But with Forsaken Fortress, it's just like, what the hell happened, you know? It's like they completely lost their direction about what they were doing, and God knows what's going to happen to the game. It literally seems like they're just trying to get a rushed product out there. This one, not so much. They've been working a lot. Like, although there hasn't been a major content update in over a year, you know, that adds actual features and stuff, they've been updating, you know, bugs and all kinds of stuff for months to this as well. And all the stuff they've been adding, like, they've added updates such to, like, the sound engine and so on and so forth there that they've been working on, that they've mentioned. And adding in all these other, I think it was called Fabric, the sound engine, if I'm not mistaken. Which is a very odd, you know, name for a sound engine, but whatever. Alright, boys, let's get you in safely inside here. If I can. I'm going to use the recall workers just to make sure that they all get back here safely. Get all back to the crystal. Okay, we're good here. We're, oh god, not good over here, not good over here, not good over here. Oh god, they're all attacking. Get them, boys! I believe in you! I believe! I mean, the only real major problem to this game right now is obviously the AI. The AI is terribly, terribly stupid at times. Almost ridiculously stupid. So yeah, if they could, I would definitely... Oh god, he got killed over here again. Yeah, no, I'm removing this. It doesn't work. It's just getting... They're just getting killed. So it's actually more of a deterrent than something that's helping them. Yeah, I might ditch that wall. So yeah, their only real major flaw in this right now is the AI. And of course adding more content so we can actually get a full game, a campaign, and all that stuff. But they have been working a lot with the engine to make sure that it was ready to start pumping out content, and to do it in a way that would cause the least amount of bugs and issues along the line, so that it would, you know, that would obviously take up even more time if they hadn't done something like that. So a lot of devs do that as well, where they go back, they take a look at their engine, they just completely, you know, mess around and redo it if they have to, or, you know, recode it to the point where they can fix all the inefficiencies with it. Get over there, Gaston. Okay, we're removing these. Oops, I meant to turn it around. And he got through. God damn it. Move it, Gaston! Move it! Or don't move it. I think they got him, though. Yeah, looks like they finally got him. I think. That or he's inside tearing up my guys. No, I don't think he is. Okay, let me remove this bit right here. Yeah, the design over here is just flawless. It just works. But on this side, it's just not, for some reason. Okay, let's get you boys over here and have them destroy all this stuff. So we can actually get this built. Come on, move it up. Move it up, boys. Can't wait for you. All day here. Let's go. But yeah, it's... Yes, they have a lot of money. Yes, they should put it towards development of the game and could hire some more people, but I would really... It's so debatable, man. Oh my god. Like, I would love to see them, you know, make more progress and get a lot of content out, but I want that content to also function properly. You know what? No, screw this design here. I don't really want to add this in here. Let's remove that. Alright, you guys can just go back and chill now. I don't really need you right now for the moment. Head on back and chillax. I'll have to put this guy back in here now because they went and destroyed all that. All my logs are gone now because they destroyed all that. Oh, it's unfortunate. Let me rebuild this. Get all this rebuilt here. I had a whole discussion in my head, but now I'm just completely losing it while I'm trying to play this. Alright. There we go. Click that, click there. Okay, good. Let me actually review this thing here. Let's see. Yeah, $700,000, which obviously is a ridiculous amount of money to make a game. But I would rather see them use the money well and actually get a good final product than just start blowing it on everything. And they actually did post a message themselves on Steam about this whole thing. It's Why No Update is what it's titled, basically. Team from Sauropod, brief heads up on the answer to the constantly asked question, why no update? Well, the blog has most of the answers, but not everyone wants to read each entry that is made. It's totally understandable. We've probably taken it for granted, too. No, we haven't jumped ship. We haven't run away with the money or taken it to get our toilets gold-plated. And has been mentioned before, we're currently in a very long, very painful, mind-numbingly boring process of refactoring the entire code base. The reason for that is quite simple, really. Adding new content into the current version of the game we have released is incredibly painful and very prone to bugs. So as you see, it was a long process, and constantly, every time they added a new feature, it created all these bugs and issues. The slightest change has repercussions everywhere. During the last year, it took an insane amount of work just to add a couple new features. The refactoring is going to provide us with the new tools and a base system that will allow us to create and add new content without destroying everything each time. And I've actually seen examples of that as well with the code that they did put out with that. With the previous versions, every time they would release a new set of features, it would just break everything. And that's exactly why they've spent so long, just refactoring the code, is for that very reason. They wanted to make sure they could get a good end product here without breaking everything. Add more stuff in. Quick and simple example would be modifying or adding a block. At the moment, our artist couldn't implement a new object without the sustained help of one of the core devs. Since everything was hard-coded. Oh, one second here. A little drink there. And everything works differently from one block to another. It was very, very easy to mess things up. And this is where the factory systems we're implementing into the engine come into play. These will allow Jermaine to easily modify assets without having to concern himself with any of the code. There's a multitude of other systems that will help us with fixing the game that we're implementing. But unfortunately, we can't add them in gradually to the current version of the game. It simply won't work that way. We have to put them in all together at the same time after they're all done. So until this refactoring is finally over, it's exceptionally difficult for us to add new content. In the past, we've added a few bug fixes and elements into the game that didn't cost too much time, and we're even testing a little feature that will make it easier to find out what's inside your barrels. That can easily be merged with the new code. But for anything bigger and more important, it really requires that the refactoring process be done first. So that's it. So basically, yeah, that's it. It's just that the way the engine was, it was making it pretty much impossible to properly get the code out or, get new stuff into the game without breaking everything entirely. So they had to spend all this time refactoring it and getting the code ironed out so that they could properly work with it. And now that process is pretty darn close to done. So I've actually seen a lot of the new things there. They're adding in a lot of new features with the time, with some time coming up here. They've mentioned a lot of stuff with trees we're growing. They've done a lot of the different animations that they've been tossing in there. You can see a lot of this throughout their blog every week on Thursdays. They do release a new blog. And it shows off a whole lot of stuff, like the ambient sound system that they're also working with now. So they're basically setting it up so that if I'm near here, I'll be getting a different sound than if I was out here in the middle of nowhere or closer up into the forest here. You're gonna actually see some, hear some nice ambient forest soundtracks the closer I get to the forest and stuff such like that. It's a small thing, but it's something that will add really nicely to the end game of this. And other than that, of course, once it's all done, we can actually start seeing some major content updates, which I'm looking forward to in that sense. I can agree that yes, it has taken a long time. Sure, they could have, and probably should have, got another couple another couple programmers that could have helped with the refactoring of the code, and so on and so forth. Let me actually find their most recent here we go, their most recent blog post right here. They had hired somebody else new, Danny, the back end guy. He did go over to Toronto in the first week in his studio. taken over most of the back-end work off Paulo's shoulders, such as the linking of Steam accounts, the in-game login, game server configuration. Again, they're all this kind of background stuff. It's not just the features of the game. It's like all the background stuff that had to be added in, like Steam integration, game analytics, server configurations. It's like just this ridiculous amount of background work. Games take time to be made, to develop. It's like, yeah, you could go along and hire like 15, 20 guys and then, have to lay them off after the game is done creating. Obviously, you don't really want to do that. You want to just keep them on and make other games and, have fun in that regard. But yeah, they're doing what they can. Linking of Steam accounts. Currently have 2 types of accounts. One that came with a Kickstarter and Humble Bundle, and a second that came with Steam. Obviously, not everyone wants to be forced to use Steam, so you need to link both types of accounts together. So you only have one system for login. It's been a very good practice for him getting learning his way through the code base. The tutorial team, of course, there's the team working on getting the tutorial set up and working. And that was actually one of the major faults of the game initially, was that, we didn't really understand how a lot of the stuff worked when they released the Steam version. We didn't know how the barrels worked to properly bring in more, not the barrels, how the blue crystals and everything worked to spawn in more units for the survival. Originally how it would work was you had to fill a barrel with blue crystals, and then you would take those barrels and put them near the crystals, and the crystals would be absorbed from the barrel and spawn in a unit automatically, which was just a base Bricktron. And then you assign them to either a archer or a knight goal later. Although I forget how we did that back then. If we could even, I forget. It has been a while. Oh no, I think back then we didn't even have the archers or knights yet, or did we? God, it's been so long since I've screwed around with that. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, they're working on it, honestly. They're doing what they can. Obviously, they could spend a lot more money on it, but let's pull the major example of money out of the proverbial hat, as it were. Notch. I mean, Notch made fuck tons of money. Like, he could have stuffed his pants. He could have got, like, a triple XL pants and stuffed that full of fucking money, is how much money that guy got. Did you see him spend a lot of that on the code? Fuck no. He spent it on, lots of, trips and probably his own private yacht and all kinds of shiny shit like that. And, when it comes to him, he made an amazing engine for generating random terrain. That was his major contribution to the whole thing in that sense. He made an amazing engine for that. The content updates for the longest time for Minecraft were just absolutely crap. They were terrible. We barely got anything. It's like, oh, hey, we got a new block that looks kind of like the other block, but now it's a half block. Yay. It's like, what happened to all this other stuff that was supposed to be added in? The ability to get to farm animals and have them, animal husbandry, basically. To be able to have, like, a farm of animals and harvest stuff from them and, breed them or whatnot. This was something that was added in by modders faster than it was by the man himself. And again, modding made that game because if there were not mods for that game, I'm pretty sure it would have died in popularity a lot sooner. Because the modders added far more content far faster than Notch ever could have, in a sense, or ever did, as far as I can remember. Even in the end game as well, he just kind of shoved the whole game away on Jeb's shoulders, and he kind of took over it. And that was actually a good thing, because he produced more content a lot faster than Notch did. Which is kind of funny. And it's like, yeah, he just had absolute shit tons of money. And I didn't, you didn't see him, hiring a dozen devs to get in there and just pump out content for the game and get that lol modding API built in anything under than, forever. So it is really tricky like that in that sense, The devs, you're paying for the game as you hope it will be. You may not necessarily get it, honestly. It's the risk we take for buying these alpha games. It's just the risk, we all have to take in that regard. We may not get what we want, but it is what it is. Let me delete that. I don't really need those. I really don't need these guys anymore, honestly. I'm just kind of going to produce some warriors and get them in place to defend this as we need to. There we go, because that's really all I need right now. And all we can really do is hope that eventually we get a good end product for it. I mean, it's not like we invested a crap ton of money each, like, personally, each of us. If we pay $10, $20, whatever it is for an alpha game, and we play it for, like, you know, 12, 13, 14 hours and enjoy it, we've already more than made up that money. I mean, come on, there's like $60 games that you play on the highest difficulty and they last 6 hours. I mean, hell, we pay fuck tons of money every goddamn year for a new COD, and it's the same fucking shit repackaged with new graphics and a new story. I mean, it's ridiculous. Honestly. Alright, let me put you over there, my friend. If you'll go over there. Or not. No? Okay, apparently Malcolm doesn't want to move. Or Macomb doesn't want to move. I'm going to save this up here now. We're already 5 waves in, but I'm going to save and reload. Just because it's starting to cause some issues right now. Alright, load game. Nope, not sandbox. Survival. Load. So yeah, it is a slippery slope in that regard. Yeah, they could probably do some more with it, but God knows what kind of complications come from that end of stuff anyway, you know. As I said before, I'm not a dev. I don't know what the intricacies of hiring new people, getting them familiar with the code, you know, informing them of the direction we're trying to go, getting them to build stuff properly, having somebody to actually, you know, handle all that kind of stuff. A good portion of these, you know, of these smaller indie devs are just the coders themselves, you know. These are the programmers, the artists, you know, working together. They don't have a specific, someone specifically there just to tell them, okay, do this, do that, you know, necessarily. Come on, load already. Load already! Oh, crap, I don't think it's going to load. It does this sometimes when you try and save load. Nope. I have to shut it down and relaunch it. Oh, well. But yeah, obviously, you know, I would love to see more to it. I would love to see them get on it and improve it. And hopefully, now that they're done a lot of the refactoring, they can get to work on that soon. They've already mentioned that they wanted to get a lot of extra content in before, what was it? It's an I think it's like PAX. Was it PAX that's coming soon? I can't remember. There was some gaming event coming soon. I can't for the life of me remember which one it was they mentioned. But they had said they're trying to pump out a lot of content for that, or before that, you know, happens, so that they can show off a lot of it then. Alright. Now you guys are kind of running around. I don't really want you running around, though. You can just kind of chillax here. You too, Google. There's nowhere you can actually store that right now. Unfortunately, our little supply of wood quickly ran dry from the fact that I accidentally deleted 90% of it, and that it was just an absolute pain in the ass to acquire anyway. So what can you do? What can you do? Anyway, they're nicely set up here right now, so I'm just gonna leave them be. But yeah. Honestly, you know, there are some devs that are a lot faster than others. I've seen guys output a ridiculous amount of content really quickly. A good example of that would be From the Depths, for those that have watched my video on that, or... oh, man, I actually entered in the Alpha Master competition for that and got stomped. I got royally stomped in my design. Oh, man. I didn't stand a chance. There's a lot of guys that are far, far better at building shit than me, it seems. I probably could have redesigned it to be a lot better, but I didn't. And they had these really, I have to say, I have not messed with the missiles in that game. There's this, it like just launches it and then it kind of tracks itself and it explodes into some kind of like shrapnel shot. It is so fucking cool. Like, my god, I have not actually screwed around with designing those, but I so want to now just because it looked so badass. Oh, man. And especially with the AI and that stuff, like, that's a guy that keeps adding stuff, like, on a weekly basis. Another good example of a really good game that has a lot of development in it would be, of course, Cataclysm, although that's something a little bit different, because it is a free game, for one, and it's a community game as well, in that it's being edited and added to by the community. So literally, on a daily basis, they have content coming in for that game. just being released like crazy. But yeah, you know, I don't necessarily know the difficulties that it comes with programming and learning all this kind of stuff, learning all the intricacies with the game, and how how it works, and you know how to code it properly, and so on and so forth. God knows if I did, I would be there. I have some like really cool like game ideas that I would love to make. I would absolutely love to make some. There's some certain games, but unfortunately, I have neither the experience nor the anything along the lines that would probably make it happen. Other than a very awesome wistful idea. That is about it. That is about it. I've debated trying to mod it into games before, or at least in a very similar way, but I've never gotten around to that. I should really get back into modding if I ever have time. That's the thing. I spend so much time on content creation and streaming in general that I just don't have the time to really delve into, and working, of course. There's always that as well. I gotta earn that paycheck. That I just don't have the time to delve back into modding as much as I used to. I should probably reset these guys here. If I don't, they're gonna go crazy on me. Let me actually set you up over here, my friend, if you will. They'll start running off and trying to get themselves into trouble that I don't want them to get into. Alright, my friend, go over here, defend, and defend. And the other guy, we don't need to worry about him at all. You, I will set up over here, back with a spot here. Alright, but yeah, if it was easy, I mean, everyone would be doing it and making amazing games. But unfortunately, it's not necessarily easy to get all the, to work content in and get all the coding base done, code the engine, all that kind of stuff. It's just not easy. It's not something you can just snap your fingers and it's done. It takes time. And in some cases, with this case, it takes a lot of time, which is a shame. I kind of wish they could speed up things, but, what can you do? And even if they had, taken an initial amount of, say, like the guys like saying, it would take 80,000 to make this game and get all the content done and get it, finished. Well, okay then, if you take, say 80, 100,000, whatever it happens to take, and that initial amount of money, and you make the game, you finish it, you put it on Steam, and it makes that 700, 800,000 anyway, because people would buy it, at $60, $40 game in that time, instead of the $20 or less that we paid for it as an alpha game. I believe Kickstarter paid less, if I'm not mistaken, for the full games, like $15 or something like that, 10, $15. And yeah, you pay, $40, $50, $60 for the finished product, and they're going to make that money anyway. So what's the difference if they make it early or if they make it, once it's a complete product? They're going to make it regardless. It's a good game. It's a great concept. There's not really anything else out there like it, so people are going to buy it. So one way or another, it's going to make money. There we go. Looks like I had to have them facing. Oh, whatever. They're getting her done. They're slaughtering them. So it's a very off concept in that sense. Yes, they could. Well, yes, they made a lot of money, but they would have made a lot of money one way or the other. Oh well. Anyway, man, it's hard having this kind of conversation. I actually knew a lot of streamers that were really good at just having like detailed conversations about a lot of things. There's one guy actually, do you remember Akabane? Was it Akabane or Axbane? No, Akabane was somebody else. It was Axbane. Yes, Axbane. This was a guy that would, he would stream Minecraft mining, just mining for like 3 hours. And he would keep it interesting because he'd talk about things like particle physics and stuff like that, and heavy science stuff basically, and real technical stuff, and people would love that. Like I really miss that guy. He was really good in that regard. I absolutely love that kind of discussions. Of course, then he went the way of most people and just went and kind of went for this crappy. Oh god, what the hell was it? Oh, I hate to even remember the damn thing. theme, I guess you could say, would be a good theme. We went for this crappy theme where it's like sausage. Sausage. Anyone want some sausage? Giant sausage? And it's like, oh my god. Dude, you used to be so good. Why did you revert to this crap? Over some stupid thing. But anyway. Oh, it's a shame. It's hard to pull off, though. It's hard to pull off. Like, you're trying to concentrate on one thing, and then while trying to completely think of something else, it's not something I excel at, that's for damn sure. I think I've proved that. Easily enough, easily enough. But yeah. It's kind of funny, though, because, you know, this is the kind of thing that producers would be worrying about before, in a sense, you know, or investors. They would invest in the game. They'd invest, like, you know, $1 million, $2 million for a dev to finish a game, and it'd be like, okay, why isn't this done yet? Why are, you know... And a lot of that tended to screw things over as well. Like, there's... Development is such a tricky thing, you know, design and development. So many things can go wrong. So many, like... Oh my god, I always hate kicking this poor dead horse, but X Rebirth. Oh my god, it's like, what happened, man? What happened, X Rebirth? In that 5 years you spent developing this game, where did you go wrong? Like, what happened in the development that caused this just absolute terrible end product to be released? You had all the things the fans loved from your previous game, and you just ignored it and went on to make this terrible freaking product. And it's like, well, what happened in that development? You know, what happened with the plan? You know, who came up with this? None of that's really explained in from a lot of devs. You know, they just kind of go silent about it. It's like, I really want to hear about the development process itself, which is why I do like a lot of these indie devs when they go in depth with how they're, you know, what kind of content they're outputting, you know, how the issues they come up against, and the ways they got around it. You know, a lot of stuff like that. I'd love to hear a lot of that. And find out that kind of stuff. It's really intriguing, actually. I don't think I have enough to spawn another unit here, but that's okay. But, okay, that seems to be positioned well there. Yeah, I'll have to get some more archers up on this wall. I do want to complete that, to get that design filled out, basically. So 2 on the top right and left. And probably 1 more up top left corner here. That'll be good. Alright, anyway. It's just tough, man. It's tough. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a long episode here, too. Jeez. Like, one of my favorite devs at the moment is the devs for Project Zomboid. And they take quite a long time as well. Like, they took months and months and months to actually output their content, and they were just like it was for, you know, this game. They were dealt with, because of that, how long it took them to output that content, they were dealt with very hostilely by the community. And there was a time where they, you know, even, you know, snapped back and, you know, backhanded some people in that case, and they were a little bit ashamed at themselves at that point for, you know, sinking to that level, as it were, and really, you know, they loved this game, they loved their game, they spent so much time and heart in developing their game, and then they have these guys just coming along and trashing it because, you know, shit happened, and they ended up having a massive delay. It's kind of like No Man's Sky, you know? It's like, you know, something just happens and the whole thing can be delayed or even ruined. They had a massive flood come through and just wipe out their computers and such, and some of the code, I believe, as well. They're still working on the game, and that game was amazing looking. It was like the ability to have all these, you know, uniquely generated planets with all this insanity going on, and, you know, fly through space, have all these space battles, destructive terrain, and it was just, it blew us all away. And then the news that their studio had gotten flooded was just devastating. Obviously, they're still working on it. God knows that they lost like thousands and thousands of dollars worth of hardware. It's just so sad in that regard. And a lot of people was like, well, by all means, if you need the money for that, you know, definitely do put out a Kickstarter for the revival of the studio. No, people would absolutely throw down a lot of money to help, you know, replace all that stuff, to maybe get, like, you know, an alpha or even just a finished product for the game. Like, You know, that's just something that we would love to have. So by all means, if it's something you need, you know, put it out there and we'll do what we can. And that's the thing. We do this because we want to support the games we love and support indie development in general. And that's a good thing. And I like to see a lot more of these indie games that are coming out. Some of them, like, some of them are obviously going to be money grabs. It's going to happen, honestly. We're going to have that Kickstarter game where somebody just, you know, grabs the money and runs, or rushes a crappy product, and then that's it. That's all we get to see. It's going to happen. It probably, you know, I'm Forsaken Fortress is one of those ones where I'm kind of highly debating on in that sense. It seems like it's just I believe it's like 90% developed in China, if I'm not mistaken, from what I understand of that one. So a lot of the language was in Chinese and was all screwed up in that sense. Was still in there, was not translated to English for people to understand. A lot of the things left to be fixed and altered in that sense. And it seemed like they were pretty much just attempting to rush out a finished product and then call it done. So they kept changing their design, changing what the game was supposed to be, and we're probably going to end up with God knows what kind of end product with that game. I'm really kind of sketchy with that right now. I'm just like, oh god, I really hope it doesn't turn out to be terrible. I really, really hope it doesn't turn out to be terrible, because I would like that to be a good game. I should probably have them, you know, I'm not going to let them just kind of sit around doing nothing here. Let's get these guys to work. Let me actually finish this bit here properly. There's no point in just letting these little guys sit around here doing nothing. I might as well give them something to do. Oops. See if we can turn this properly here. Would help a little bit. Beautiful. Alright. Get to work, boys. There you go. You can go complete that for me. Alright, I'll even put this up right here. There we go. But yeah. It's like, when it comes to a lot of these games, people are just worried that they're going to abandon it, that they're going to, you know, pay this money for this game, and just always have this incomplete product. And that's a valid worry that people have, you know. That's something that, you know, it could happen. It could easily happen. But with most devs, you know, this game is their baby. It's their dream. No matter what happens, they're going to see that dream come true, you know. They're going to work, even if they were to have like a Kickstarter and it just barely succeeds or it doesn't succeed, like I've seen a lot of Kickstarters, you know, a lot of good Kickstarters too have failed at times, and I've really been like, oh, it's sad, and I hope that they eventually bring it out. But yeah, they're still working on a lot of those kinds of games because, you know, they love it. It's their dream, and they want to complete it and get it out there. And I guess that's also another way that one could interpret that. You know, we're not just paying for a game. We're not just paying to get this game, you know, made. It says we're paying to complete dreams in that sense, you know. We're paying to allow somebody to finish their dream that they've had for so long, you know, this something that they've wanted to do forever, and now they're getting a chance to get it done. A lot of these devs are, you know, they're new devs. They may not have had a lot of experience with certain aspects of the coding. There's issues that can crop up that they've never experienced before that, you know, may delay things a bit. We've seen a lot of that before. God knows, like with the Dead Linger guys, they pretty much took their game with their own custom engine and everything, and they converted it all to Unity. And this is what a lot of people are using Unity like crazy. A lot of people are using the Unity engine, and it just seems to have so many problems. It's a great engine, don't get me wrong. It's a great wow, god. It's a great engine, but it seems like it always seems to cause a lot of issues somehow. Oh, something's going on over here. Oh, they're destroying a small section of it on the right side. That's okay. The right side's not all that important anyway. But yeah, with the Dead Linger, when they actually did release the the big engine change, as it was called, it completely destroyed the game. Like, it just completely screwed up every bit of content, pretty much, that they'd had in the game previously. And that caused them to spend months just fixing and fixing and fixing the game. It was ridiculous, honestly. And this, of course, came with a Steam release, and it was one of the games I said that, yes, Steam should probably, not just be releasing every single little game that gets tossed on early access. They should quality check it a little bit beforehand. Deadlinger at that point was not ready to be released on Steam. With the big engine change, they should have given it to us, us testers who had already gotten alpha access to the game, who had already been testing it previously and finding the issues and all that kind of stuff. They should have given it to us first to fix and find any bugs and issues with it. And if they had, we could have, said, whoa, guys, no, you gotta delay the Steam release. It is just not ready at all right now for a Steam release. Where there's bugs, there's a ridiculous amount of bugs, the whole game's practically broken. You should hold off for a bit, because they got a lot of flack for being released on Steam when it did, and having so many issues and bugs and just ridiculous game-breaking insanity, basically. But a couple updates later, once they got to, I think, version I believe, or the hunting update even, it was a perfectly good playable game. Obviously, it's still an alpha, and there's a lot of content left to be added, and if you take a look at their roadmap, there's a lot of really cool content that they're planning on adding in, and it sounds like a really amazing game. But yeah, it completely shattered the game, and they released it on Steam, and it was like $25, and people were up in arms and, raising pitchforks and torches, because it was just, it was pretty much unplayable. So devs definitely need to be careful when they decide to bring these games to Steam, because they need to make sure that they have a certain amount of polish to them, because people on Steam are used to really polished alphas at this point. We've been really spoiled with having really polished alphas released on Steam in many cases. Such as even Kenshi. Kenshi was a greatly polished alpha game. We get you boys over here. And a couple other ones that are incredibly polished. But alpha games, by their nature, are supposed to be extremely base content, just core concepts that then get added on over time. And alpha is just the bare bones of a game that gets, added onto with its basic features over time, and then eventually gets refined through the beta process. So really there's like 3 different stages. There's the prototype stage, which is just absolute bare functionality of something that's remotely playable. There's your alpha stage, which has, more content being added to it, all the main features getting added in, fixed, tweaked, so on and so forth. Well, mostly just added in and fixed if there's any game-breaking issues to it. And so on and so forth. And then you finally have the beta stage, which is for, making sure everything that is working properly and is balanced properly. And this is a long process to get it to that point. There we go. That's a great spot for him. I'm going to keep him there. So, if you're not willing to suffer bugs, if you're not willing to suffer, long delays between content, you don't buy alpha games. You just don't. Because there are going to be times where it's going to take a while to get content out. There are going to be times where there's going to be some, game-breaking bug that causes it to be, unplayable, or even, may delay the game entirely. God knows there have been a lot of major release screw-ups in times. Like, even AAA developers, I should say this, even AAA developers have problems with a lot of different stuff like AI and so on and so forth. I mean, one of the major ones for me was Rome. Rome 2. Rome 2 came out, and it was ridiculously easy. Like, the AI was just, like, bent over a table like, come at me, bro. It was pathetic, almost, in that sense. Like, they were telling about, oh, this AI that we've made is just so amazing, so lifelike. It's like you're actually playing another player. It's just, it's going to be able to, adjust itself to what you're doing and make changes to its strategy and all this thing, all these promises about what this AI could do. And I basically put it on the highest difficulty and bent the AI over a table, and took him to town. Didn't even stand a single chance on the highest difficulty, which was just sad. And oddly enough, it was a modder, again, modding. It was a guy that modded the game and added on some stuff that actually made it actually a little bit more challenging and difficult. It actually made a bunch of tweaks to the AI, to the economy, to research, to everything pretty much. I believe, what was his name? Was it Radeon or Radiant or something? I can't remember. But he made a really, really solid, good mod for it. Or, I guess I should say mods, since there were multiple in that pack. But regardless, even AAA developers have major issues with bugs and, AI especially. Like, AI is not an easy thing to program. I'm sure any dev will tell you that. AI is an absolute bitch to program at times because it just does not, necessarily do what you want it to do. Because it's like you got to program it in just such a way that it's not too predictable, that it can, be random, it's still challenging. It's just all around a difficult process to produce games, from what I can see, from what I can tell. Like, if it was easy, we would have a million, amazing, mind-blowing games. But unfortunately, we don't. And there's a lot of good classic games that even get, missed for a lot of the things that they do. Let me see, what was I thinking of? I was actually thinking of a really good one there. Crap. My mind just completely derped for a second there. I lost track of what I was thinking. Okay, you can go build this up, my friend. I suppose I could finish this guy back up here. There we go. There you go, boys. That'll be a perfect little project for you. You delete any excess that happens to be around the area there and let them have fun. And another, big developer, of course, Paradox has, Paradox is one of those devs that just, or companies, I should say, that just pumps out a lot of games. They take on all these developers and they just, I guess produce would be that sense, yeah. They just pump out a lot of different kinds of games in that sense. And one of the big ones that had actually still probably, I think it still holds my personal seal of the worst release for a game ever, sadly, would be Sword of the Stars 2. There was a similar incident to Sword of the Stars 2 with the original Dead Island. They accidentally released the debug dev version of the game so that you could actually fly around the map, and, you'd have all these dev controls, and who just killed one of my guys? Who died? Someone up here got shot for some reason. Wow. Oh man, they're just having nothing but problems there, aren't they? Keep shooting all their buddies. Oh well, what can you do? You know what, I think I'm gonna move you. At this point, you can go down there. You can go down here. And you can go over here. There we go, that should be fine. That should be perfect for them. But yeah, Sword of the Stars 2. My god, that was definitely holds the single worst release ever award from me. Because first they released the dev version like that, the wrong version of the game. It was incomplete, had bugs and issues to it. Then they released a broken version. Like, oh no, first they released a beta version of it, like an old prototype version of it. Then they released the dev version. Then somehow they completely, like, this is a big company, I should say. This is a big company, and they somehow managed to fuck up the entire code, or lose the entire code, or somehow break the whole freaking thing, to the point where they basically had to almost, start the game from scratch or something. They had to, like, redo a lot of the code from the ground up almost. And this is spent, it took months to make that game even playable. Which was ridiculous in that sense. They by far have my worst release ever seal of approval in that sense, or disapproval, I should say. It was probably the biggest screw up I've seen for a release game like that. Which is a shame, but yeah. Oh man, it's kind of funny if you think about it. The amount, how the hell do you manage to just not only screw up the game to where, you release the wrong version twice of the game, but then the complete version is so destroyed that you can't even release something that's playable for like 3 months. They patched it over time, but, it never really felt playable for at least that time. Which was sad. Eventually we got a finished product. I've played it a little bit now, and it's not bad. But, yeah. That still kind of makes me laugh, though, back then. That just... Man, it was just a clusterfuck of just insanity that would have had to have, combined to make that... Okay, let me drop that. You're having some issues there, my friend. Or not. Okay, apparently he doesn't want to drop it. Come on, Google, let me go put you in your happy fun corner. Since you don't want to listen to me and drop those orange crystals, I'll have to go put you in the happy fun corner. Of shame. Oh, man. Drop it. Delete it. But yeah, that's kind of funny. Anytime that somebody... Then this happens on a lot of different things. A lot of different forums, a lot of different sites like Reddit and comments on YouTube and such. Anytime somebody, complains about an alpha game that, oh, we've been waiting so long for content and it hasn't been releasing anything and, stuff like that. I think, well, how much was the game for alpha that you bought, Was it $10? Was it $20? Was it $30? Now, have you gotten your fun out of that? Have you gotten, $10 worth of enjoyment out of that game? Yes? Then what's the problem? If not, then okay, I can understand that a little bit, but, if you pay just that much for a game and you've gotten your enjoyment out of it, then getting the finished game eventually is just, bonus. There we go. That should allow them to complete that side. Of course, that's just my opinion in that sense. Obviously, we all want the finished game. We paid for a finished game, not necessarily just the alpha. But as long as you get your money's worth out of it, you got your money's worth out of it. You've had your enjoyment. It was fun, so on and so forth. And hopefully it'll, have more to it down the road. Oh, but anyway, I'm starting to get tired now for some reason. Honestly, I probably could have discussed this far, far better if I'd actually, been able to put my entire what little of brain power I have into it, but not so much, not so much. Anyway. As I said, it's all really a matter of opinion. People will always be of the opinion that a game, should be done faster, should be done better, that it doesn't have some of the stuff that was promised, that it wasn't made to what we thought it was going to be, and so on and so forth. That's always going to be the case. It's a matter of you can't please anyone, or you can't please everyone. It's kind of like with my YouTube content, you know I can't please everyone. You know, there's a lot of people that aren't going to enjoy me having this, 2 hour or an hour and a half discussion here about stuff, well, and doing it terribly, I should say, about this stuff. Let me grab this and move it over here. You know, that won't be some people's thing. A lot of people will just continue to complain about it in that sense. But yeah, you just can't make everyone happy. That's just the way of things. But hopefully we can all generally be at least content with what gets released here down the road. But yeah, as I said, we'll see. We'll just keep getting updated. We'll keep watching their blog every week and seeing what happens for this game. Seeing what kind of content that they're going to be adding into it. Let me actually go back in this here and take a look at it. Serialization, 2.5 milestones. Major internal milestone, made serious progress on our refactoring goals, and this was like 3 weeks ago, if not more. So they did make, let me see here, yeah, February the 7th, they made major, leaps and bounds, major internal milestones on the internal refactoring, so most of the refactoring by now should be done, in that sense. So that should be good. Somebody actually made someone made some, people make some really, really cool shit with this game. This is one of those games where it's for those who really have a creative mind and want to make really, really interesting and cool things. Like, one guy made a boat out of wood, and here, let me actually get the image for this here. Give me a second. I'll actually show off the image of this thing. It is really, really well done, I have to say. There is no way, the reason, I'm actually probably going to be ending my Castle Story series with this series for now, until until they release any new updates, in which case I'll go back to doing update videos for the game for a while, and maybe eventually I'll come back with another series. But just because the only thing that's really left to do now is on the creative side, which isn't necessarily my forte. I'm not the best, most creative guy when it comes to building stuff. As we can kind of see from Dwarf Fortress all the time, I always tend to go with the same generic design. Cough. But, stuff like this, stuff like the crazy bridge that we've seen before, which I've already showed off. I could probably move that. Look at this thing. Was made with various stair bricks and other bricks. They used logs and boards, and they made this amazing boat. I couldn't build that kind of thing. I couldn't design that kind of thing in my head. I'm just not quite as capable at that in being creative in that sense. I mean, look at my wall here. It's functional. It's ugly as F, but it's functional. And that's basically what I was going for, was functionality, not over beauty. Although I did try and make it at least look nice. For the most part. There we go. So at the very least I tried to make it look good. Somewhat. Alright, we're doing pretty good here. Excuse me. So we're almost done here. Wave 79. Which I believe will be our last wave. Actually, I might do up to wave 80. Yeah, I'll do up to wave 80. And that'll be it for today. We actually got through this a little bit faster than I thought we would. I thought it would take, like an hour and 30, an hour and 40 to get through 10 waves. But it seems like it's only taken about... it'll probably take about an hour or 20, actually. Hour 20, hour 30. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. 3 episodes of an hour and 30 long, finished up. That should be good. But yeah. Honestly, I will agree, they do need to start coming out with actual features, additions, and content to this game. They do need to seriously get it into gear and start working on that now that they have finished a lot of the refactoring of the code. They've brought more people on to assist with all the background stuff so that they could function, or, could work on all that now. So they are hiring people to try and deal with a lot of the back-end stuff so that they can focus on that content updates. And I look forward to seeing them updating a lot of that. About to get Simone up here to repair this again here soon. Alright. Okay, so they're doing fairly well. And obviously the major advancements to the AI also needs to be made. But I would definitely agree, though, that they should hire somebody that has good experience in AI programming and Unity. I would definitely love to see them hire somebody with that kind of experience. You know, get some really good sophisticated AI in this thing for the Bricktrons and Corruptrons. My god, I'm actually kind of fearing the point where we actually get a ranged Corruptron. Oh man, like right now it's easy to kind of bottleneck them in here, but eventually down the road, not so much. Now people have suggested I download other survival maps, and actually that's another thing as well, thanks to the modding community and, you know, the devs for, you know, making it so that they could even do this. If they, I'm not sure, did they do that, or was it something that the modding community was completely responsible for? I'm not sure. Well, I'm not sure if it was something that the devs had a hand in making it happen, or if it was something that was just done completely by modders, but you can actually download other survival maps than this for use in the game. So you can actually use other, you know, different types of maps for this, so you don't have to keep sticking with this single one here. And I really like that. People have suggested I do a series with those different maps, and I've thought about it, but I don't really know. You know, once we've made it to 100 waves, we've survived. We've challenged this about as far as it would go right now. And that's about it, honestly speaking. There's not really much else I would like to do with this at the moment. Other than, you know, maybe building something really cool creative. But that's, again, my design is terrible. My ability to design is terrible. With the way that, you know, the bricks are actually laid out and everything, and the way that the logs work together and such, and creating stable platforms. I would like to build some cool castles and stuff, but I would probably end up just sucking at it. So, yeah. And there's so many games that I play. There's so many different games, so many different series that I have on the go, that with a lot of games like this, I don't have the time to spare to really get in depth with it and, you know, make it amazing in that sense. I just have enough time to get my, you know, do my series, play it. Literally, with a lot of the series that I do, the only time that I play the game is when I'm recording it for the series. That is how crazy it is in that sense. In, well, you know, time-wise, I just don't really have the time to invest in playing a game for, you know, a good 8-10 hours anymore and learning every little bit and piece about it. I wish I did. I wish they could add on another 12 hours every single day to the day. That would be awesome. We just slow down the rotation of the planet. Slow down the rotation of the planet. Give us another couple hours worth of time in a day. If only it worked like that. That way I can sleep for, you know, 10 hours and not feel like an absolute idiot because of it. Which is true enough. I swear to God, it absolutely pisses me off. I have such terrible fucking sleeping habits. I swear to God. I end up, you know, it's like, oh, my alarm, 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Oh, hey, my alarm's going off. Guess it's time to get off. Flick, alarm's off. Oh, wait, what? It's 2 o'clock? Fuck. There goes half the day. Oh my god, I swear. I just want to attach some kind of like hydraulic system to my bed that just activates via my alarm and just, you know, tilts it a good 40 degrees to the right. That way I, you know, go flailing out of bed, slam to the ground, wake the fuck up, and stay the fuck up. I swear it's gonna... One day it's gonna take something that extreme just to get me this, you know... Just too damn comfortable, I swear to God. I need to get like a slab or rock or something to sleep on. Just so I don't, you know, go back to bed. Oh, man. It's terrible. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, I really do wish, actually, that I had a lot of the time to spend all that time playing a lot of these games if I could. But, you know, there's a lot of different things, real-life stuff, work. Because, you know, a lot of people, it's kind of funny, a lot of people think like, oh man, I'm just gonna make a bunch of videos, gonna make a living off of YouTube and all that kind of stuff, and it takes a lot to make anything remotely to the point of being able to live off of that. You know, there's a lot of fees one has to pay in life, a lot of bills one has to pay to, you know, to actually make a living in that sense. So anytime you want to do something like that, you have to at least have yourself a good part-time job, at least on the side there, or you're just not going to have, you're not going to be able to do it. Alright. Uh-oh. This is going to be interesting. Let's watch him fall on his face, shall we? Let's watch a Bricktron faceplant here once he removes that. It's like, oh, it just kind of skipped him down. That saddens me. I wanted to watch him flail and faceplant. Aww. Silvar sad. Oh, well. What can you do? What can you do? So at the start of the next episode here, I'll probably end up sealing off the front quite a bit here. Okay, let me get this in place. And there we go. Oh, excuse me. Pardon me. Woo! Big pardon me. That was not intended. So, but yeah. And speaking of which, in that sense, I actually got a lot of new content I'm even putting out there as well now with RimWorld and Factorio. 2 new additions I made to my little content library, as it were. And along with that, of course, in recent, months coming up here, I am going to be doing a lot of other games as well. The major one on my list, of course, is Dark Souls 2. I'm going to be investing a shit ton of time in that game. Excuse me. Not to mention anything else interesting and cool that comes out. Like, I've been trying to delve a lot into the, a lot of these independent games, a lot of ones that, you may not have heard of that are out there. I try and find a lot of those. And by all means, if anyone out there has any of those kinds of games that they're interested in, that they know of, feel free to send me, a link to that kind of stuff, and I will take a look at it and, see how it is, as it were. Like, anything, if you say, hey, you should check out this game, you should check out that game, I will take a look. I do take a look. And I even do consider them for a series in that sense. I may not necessarily have the time to do all of them, but I'll at least take a look at them. And see what it's like. Okay, let's get you inside here, my friend. Wave 79 starts in a bit here. I kind of wish there was the option to launch the wave prematurely if you so desired. Like, just keep launching wave after wave after wave. Could you imagine if I made the final, 5 waves all at the same time? I would totally do that too. If I had the option to, I would totally launch the last 5 waves all at the same time and just surround my inner castle with knights. Like, just have them lining the wall here. I would totally do it. So that would be like, of course it would probably kill the game. I would literally crash the game if I tried something like that. Having 2,000 guys suddenly attacking me would just be ridiculous. Or not 2,000, it would be, judging from the amount of enemies I keep fighting here, it would something be along the lines of probably 800. 800 to 1,000 enemies on screen, all trying to come to the fortress. Actually, it'd probably glitch out and they would all just freeze there and get obliterated by my archers. I wouldn't be surprised. Trying to spawn in that many units would no doubt cause a ridiculous amount of bugs. But no, I think I'm going to end it here today. I think I'm going to end it here. And honestly, this is all up to you guys as well. I can continue to do the last 2 episodes as 10 wave episodes, give or take. Or I can put them back down to 5 waves per episode and just put out 4 videos. So it's up to you guys. I can do it 2 videos or 4 videos. It doesn't necessarily matter to me as much. I could try just keep going with the discussions and such and see what I can come up with to distract y'all while we get through these last couple waves here. I don't think the Corruptrons really stand much of a chance at this point. If they haven't broken through by now, they're not going to. Well, unless I get lazy on the maintenance. If I don't, repair the left side here, they're probably going to start breaking through sometime soon. And obviously we don't want that happening. So I'm gonna get back up there and start patching it up here soon. Delicious. Alright. Whoops. That's not correct. There we go. Delete those, reduce the lag. It's kind of funny, I can't actually delete this. It wants to delete the one underneath it. Oh well, what can you do? Here you go, dingo. Have I meant? So now that we're done most of that kind of stuff, we can put these guys back to work. It's like, you can stop firing now, there's no enemies there. Alright, so before we go, we'll start the repair process here. Whoops. Damn cap lock. There we go. That's all patched up there now. Beautiful. I want to extend this out a little bit so it takes them a little bit longer to destroy it. Oh yeah, I guess they also have to work on this, don't they? I suppose I did tell them to do that. Oh well, we got enough now that they can get it done. Time it, if you don't mind, mate. I want all you guys on construction, just because you can go and get that done quicker. But anyway, let me save this up for now. We'll end it today at Wave 80. So hopefully I didn't dribble on too much, as it were, with my nonsense. Anyway. That should be good for that. That should be good. So, thanks for watching again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I was a little bit all over the place today. My thoughts were just, you know, a jumble of insanity, as it were. God, I really wish I could make a nice little castle like that. It just looks so cool, doesn't it? That is such a nice design. I always seem to mess up the corners. You see, the one thing with this here, if I look at this design, the thing that drives me nuts is that this corner on the right side and this corner on this edge here, they don't match up. Like, we have 3 and then 4. I like the symmetry in me is just kind of like in that sense. I suppose it works from that design, but still, it's blah. But anyway, thanks for watching, and thanks for enduring my little bit of insanity there, as it were. My discussions and so on and so forth, and I will catch you guys next time with some more Castle Story. Yeah, see you all later. That's about all I got right now. That's all I have. All the brain power I have left to say is about it.